You might be thinking, the iPhone 15 just came out. I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, time is not real and nothing matters. So here we go. Let's talk about iPhone 16 Pro, the next greatest iPhone ever made. Again, because we are getting so close to the iPhone 16 launch that at this point, a lot of the information out there is accurate. So first, let's talk about design, because that's like what you're here for, isn't it? Right off the bat, courtesy of a few different sources, luckily, but also majorly Unknowns 21, we know that the displays for iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will be getting bumped up to 6.3 and 6.9 inches respectively. Now on the surface, I know that sounds like these phones are starting to get way too big, and they are, but also Apple is not as dumb as the rest of us, because the increase to the display is also coming with an incredibly ambitious effort to shrink the bezels of iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max by a whopping 30%, roughly, for both of those models. 2018 called and said, hey, phones are not cool if the bezels are not shrinking. That's innovation, right? From the elec, Apple is employing something called BRS. Be real small bezels. That was so stupid. Border reduction structure is what it's called, and it's going to heavily decrease the size of the bezels. And thanks to Ice Universe, we know that Apple intends for iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max to have the thinnest bezels on not just any iPhone ever, but any smartphone. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking to you, Galaxy S24. You ain't even special. But speaking of Samsung, you know what is special? Their display tech, because inside of the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, we're getting some upgrades. From South Korean news outlet ET News, this generation of Apple's fanciest iPhones will be the first Apple device to receive Samsung's super high-performance M14 OLED panels. Since these M14 panels are so new and so cutting edge, we don't really have that much information on exactly what makes them head and shoulders above the competition, but we do know that a previous report from the Weibo leaker Instant Digital tells us iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will feature 20% brighter displays in SDR content. So, if we combine these pieces of information and use our context clues, then I think it's fair to assume that the boost in brightness is directly thanks to those new Samsung OLED panels. Oh, but they didn't stop there. Not only are they making upgrades and changes to the displays, but also major design change. It's gonna look unrecognizable. You're gonna see that and be like, is that an iPhone? Because as we've been saying for like a year now, we're getting a new capture button, and that will, you guessed it, capture Pokemon! No, actually just photos and videos. Not nearly as cool. I am disappointed. New on every iPhone 16 model, yes, even on the poor people ones, and placed right where you're going to accidentally press it every day, all the time, forever, the capture button will be taking the place of that millimeter wave antenna thing, right below the lock and unlock button. Now I know, you love the millimeter wave antenna. You love looking at it every day, and you're like, wow, that's the best part about my iPhone is that thing right there. And now you're sad because it's gone. But what if I told you? Not gone. Don't worry, the millimeter wave antenna thingy is going from the right side to the left side. Just going to the other side of the phone, that's all. That capture button is going to function pretty similarly to the action button on your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, but be way cooler. Because even though the capture button will be a mechanical button, it will have some pretty insane features along with it. Not only will you be able to operate the camera's zoom by lightly swiping over the capture button, but because it'll be fully pressure sensitive, you can use it like a two-stage shutter button on modern cameras. So a light press to focus and then a harder press to record or snap a photo, making your iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max camera start to feel like a real one. I don't know how, but we're only like halfway through all of this so far. We're gonna talk about the other half after I brush my teeth, because this episode is sponsored by the Life and Wave toothbrush, which yes, they paid me to talk about, but no company could pay me enough to claim that their product is the best product in that category, and the Life and Wave toothbrush is legitimately the best toothbrush I have ever used. We have tried and tested every toothbrush under the sun ever here at Front Page Tech, and none of them can match this one. The motor, crazy. This thing is super powerful, but also the Wave has a 60-degree oscillation built in. Thanks to their incredibly intuitive app, you can customize basically everything about your life and Wave. Features like vibration strength, oscillation speed, timers, and more. Combine that with the Wave's high-tech and familiar magnetic charging cable, premium brush heads for every type of clean you want to feel, and this is one of the fanciest toothbrushing experiences money can buy, and you don't gotta spend a lot of it. It makes my teeth feel so good I feel like I can see the dentist. Stop brushing your teeth like a caveman or a cavewoman. Step into the future. Bring your teeth with you. And the best part of this ad, Prime Day is upon us. So do your mouth a favor and check out the link in the description to snag your own Life and Wave today and get up to 20% off. That's 100% clean for 20% off. As of right now, we are expecting iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max to come in natural titanium, of course, black, white, and a new color that's being referred to as rose, which is definitely not the return of Apple's rose gold color. No way. And guess what's under that lovely new color? How about lovely new MagSafe? Yeah, I'm sorry. I had no idea how to segue and get us to talk about MagSafe, so I just did it there. Hope you're not mad. MagSafe on iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will be receiving some minor changes. In images shared by the French case company Shop System, you can see that the MagSafe rings and the pill-shaped magnet thing used to line stuff up will be shrunk in basically every way, a little thinner and more shallow. Alongside the changes to the size of MagSafe, we're also seeing a rumor that due to the battery changes that we're all expecting in the iPhone 16 lineup, MagSafe charging could also see a minor improvement from 15 watts to 20 watts of charging power. Something that Apple could have easily done last year or the year before, but screw you, we're doing it this year and you're gonna pay for it. Now, let's talk about probably the most important change coming to iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. Probably the most important change of any phone every year. Lots of people care about this. The camera. And in an effort to not make it sound like I'm just reading the tech specs off of a military fighter jet, let's just keep it simple. On the very normal human-sized iPhone 16 Pro, we can expect the following changes. No changes! No changes to the main camera sensor because iPhone 16 Pro gets the same 48 megapixel Sony sensor that's in the iPhone 15 Pro, but with slight improvements to dynamic range and noise control. Woohoo! Also expect an improved 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera sensor with enhancements to low light and performance. But it gets cool here because, as expected, we're finally getting the more zoomy lens that the 15 Pro Max has. We're getting it here on a normal-sized functioning adult phone, bringing zoom capabilities from the current 3x zoom to a 5x zoom on that 16 Pro. Things are only slightly different on the very, very freakish Sam Cold nightmare-sized iPhone 16 Pro Max. A new, slightly larger custom main sensor based on the 48 megapixel Sony sensor, the improved 48 megapixel ultra-wide sensor from the 16 Pro, and the 5x optical zoom like on the 15 Pro Max, but we have another spicy rumor from what we'll call a possibly reliable Weibo account that tells us the 16 Pro Max specifically could feature a super telephoto periscope camera, which would dramatically increase the optical zoom of this puppet. We're talking potentially about a focal length of more than 300 millimeters. For context, and if you're not playing along at home, the currently available periscope lens within the 15 Pro Max is equivalent to 120 millimeters, so 300 millimeters is more than that. And for legal purposes, or just cause, we have to say this next part, this might not be true. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max will be receiving a brand new A-series chip. But John, they do that every... I don't know what that noise was. But John, they do that every year. I know. But this year is very important, so listen up and forget that this take happened. Because this will be the first year where we 100% know that Apple plans on incorporating every possible nanometer of speed and power improvement to benefit their new Apple Intelligence. Currently, word from the Taiwanese news outlet Economic Daily News tells us that the A18 chips will feature a heavily upgraded neural engine with what they are saying is significantly more cores. Every improvement made to Apple Silicon neural engines, whether we're talking M-series or A-series chips, directly impact just how efficiently and powerfully machine learning and AI tasks can and will be done. And now that we know Apple's intentions with Apple Intelligence, we know just how much the performance of these neural engines means to Sir Timothy Cook. Sadly, that's kind of all we know. We don't have any concrete specifics about the A18 lineup of chips, so instead of saying any of it, how about I say none of it? You're welcome. iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max should be caressing your eyeballs very soon. It's like only a couple months away. It's September, I can see it from here. And you know what else I can see from here? Your dirty ass microwave. Go clean it.
Why you really full sent that one?